Princess of Wales, obviously you pointed out that she spoke about she wanted to spend as much time as possible with her children while she was, getting through her cancer diagnosis. She's got a new title this week. It's a bit of a mouthful. I'm going to have to read it out. She is the Royal Companion for the Order of the Companions of Honour. It's a new title, but, it's rewarding her public service and, I believe, her interest in the arts.
Yes.
Why do you think the King has chosen to present the Princess of Wales? Because they're both going through cancer diagnosis at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lovely gesture, and it's a very supportive one of her. I mean, he's clearly really very fond of her, and I think wanted to promote the idea that she's been doing an awful lot of work in support of the arts and just her public service generally. I think royal fans, for want of a better phrase, will be really interested in all of this and all of these titles. But I have to say, for a lot of ordinary people in this country, I mean, I think they'll just wonder what it's all about. And of course, critics are already piling in and saying, it's just the King giving more baubles to his family. I can see why he's done it. She's clearly going through a really difficult time at the moment, so I think it will be seen as a nice gesture. I did, I've met her a few times, so when we have these media receptions or whatever, and I think that she is very often unfairly labelled as sort of a bit of an airhead who doesn't really know what she's doing. And I have to say, I've always been really impressed with her. I think she's highly intelligent. She, unlike the ones that were born into the family, she's a very good listener sometimes. It's not that they're not good listeners, it's just that William, Harry, some of the others, they are used to being the centre of attention. Their whole lives they've been the centre of attention, so they're used to dominating the conversation. And she is very good, I've found, at sort of saying, what do you think? What are your opinions? And listening to you. And when she chose her first patronages, I thought they were inspired because she thought very carefully about she can't get involved in sort of things that are politically sensitive, party political, but she chose patronages that dealt with some of the fundamental problems in our country, the sort of breakdown of family life, addiction. And I remember telling her that at one point my wife was interested in becoming a magistrate, and we spent an afternoon down at Portsmouth City Magistrates in Hampshire, near where we live. And just about every case that came up, you could tell, either addiction or mental health problems were at the root of the crime, really.
And did she react to that in any way? I think so.
She found that very interesting, and we've seen her work since on, I've covered her going to prisons, talking to women prisoners about how their own sort of childhood traumas they felt had led to addiction problems and a life of crime. And I think the work she's doing in trying to improve the first 5 years of children's lives is really important. I'm always slightly amused that I'm not sure she's actually said it herself, but certainly her people working for her have said that she wants to reduce inequality. And of course, she sits at the very top, the very pyramid of the social.
Well, it's a difficult one for them to juggle, like William's talking about homelessness and stuff like that. And so the same questions are levelled at him, but, they are doing things, she is actually using her position to actually achieve things.
Exactly.
It's really difficult to lob those.
And he gets the brickbats, why do you need all those homes if you want to
solve
homelessness?
It's really unfair at times.
Yes,
talking of titles, obviously, there was some Order of the Garters, and I'm not going to go through who got the Order of the Garters, but there was a new Order of the Garters, which is the highest chivalric order. It dates back to Arthur and the Round Table, so many years ago.
1348, Edward III.
Edward III.
Yes.
I think he was inspired by, but it's a proper chivalric kind of thing. But Prince Andrew remains an order remains order, but he's banned from the public aspects of the event. Would there be a chance for the king when he makes these title changes to maybe remove this order from Prince Andrew?
I'm not sure about the legal process of it. I imagine that it's possible, but I just think that would be very difficult for him to so publicly shame his brother like that. I can't see it happening, and but of course, Andrew's situation is a perpetual embarrassment for the king and for the rest of the family.
And talking about the king, we did a story a couple of weeks ago that he was supercharging his diary. That we know about, well documented about his cancer struggles, but that he wants to get back out this summer. It was reported a couple of days ago that he might go to Ascot. Well, why do you think it's so important for the king to be out, to be seen, to not rush back too quickly and be cautious? But why is it so important for him to be out there, possibly at Ascot?
Well, I think it was his late mother, who said, "I have to be seen to be believed," and I do think that's true, and it comes back to those photos as well. I think the public need to see the monarchy out and about. They need to see members of the royal family undertaking official engagements. Clearly, Britain's horse racing industry is a very important. Economically, it's quite an important industry, and it's been the sport of kings for centuries. So I think the sport would say that it's really important for the royal family to show their support for Royal Ascot, and for the king, if he can, to be there. I reckon he'll be there. Whether he can make it every day like he did last year remains to be seen. But certainly the mood music coming out of the palace is that in May and June, he and Queen Camilla are going to be very busy. So, which is obviously good news, because there's concern about his health, as there is about Princess of Wales's health. But at the moment, although people close to them are saying we need to be cautious, it is looking quite positive.
And Richard, you were on the Daily Express for for 20 years on the Royal Rota. A new job that you could have got was Harry and Meghan have got themselves a new press officer for the UK. So this is the first time in 4 years that they've got a new comms officer for the UK and Europe. Is it a job that you'd be interested in? Does this mean that we are, God forbid, we're going to have more news this side of the pond about Harry and Meghan now they've got an actual designated communications expert working for them here?
Well, it's really interesting that they're employing somebody, isn't it? Because for quite a while they didn't really want to engage with the UK media. But I think their need to employ a PR over on this side of the pond shows how they've lost the public support over here, and they've lost positive PR, positive coverage in the media. And I can remember times in the past when some of your predecessors on The Sun used to say that, Harry's so popular, he's, all the women readers would love to date him, and all the blokes would like to go out for a drink with him. And the idea that he would get lots of negative media coverage was more or less unthinkable back in those days. And it's been interesting to see how the public's perception of him has changed. Now, you can argue, is that because the media have reported negatively on him, or is that because the media are just reflecting what the public think about him? I suspect it's more the latter. But they need to up their game over here, I think.